6:30 p.m. sharp Bangkok time, GMT +7, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Surrounded by Details podcast with me, Stevo. I am your host. And if you are somewhere else on this beautiful planet, like Paris, Francais, it is 1:30, I believe, over there, GMT +2. And before I introduce you to who we talk to today, first of all, as always, shout out to my man Big D from the Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, or Cafe and Bar, turn it how you want. They are always supporting this podcast, and this is also the location where the magic happens today. I'm having a wonderful craft beer next to me, the Pacific Wonderland Lager, and talking about Wonderland, we have a very wonderful person with me today. A good friend of mine, a colleague, and a person that is probably a bigger workaholic than myself. Bonsoir, Antoine Schirer.
Hello, Mr. Steve.
How are you today, my friend?
I'm very sleepy, but I'm feeling very great.
Why are you sleepy?
I don't know. Like, I'm traveling now, so we are in Bangkok, and I arrived today. I was doing a quick journey to Japan.
A quick journey? You stayed for a couple of days, actually.
Like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, something like that. You came here
this morning, and
you came here at the end of August, because you were attending a wedding of a friend.
Absolutely, wedding of Abde and Flo. Shout out to them.
Yeah, he got married. Is he still alive, or?
I hope.
But then I had to work. I had to go to Shanghai because, as my audience know, for the people who are new, I'm a freelance photographer based in Southeast Asia, and we couldn't really follow up with our plans because we had the idea of going to Myanmar, helping you to take some videos of Lethwei, the most brutal mixed martial art, or the most brutal martial art on this planet. But unfortunately, the event got postponed, so you decided to go to Japan. Why did you go to Japan?
It's a country I've always wanted to visit since a long time. There were many small reasons. Like, there were one of my great friend Leo, who was over there for work as well. I've traveled many times to Asia, but never Japan. So I was like, why not? I had time during this summer because I have a long break from my work. So I will travel there.
So you could say that you lost your Japanese virginity. I'm sorry, man. But where in Japan did you go? Tokyo, Osaka, or Osaka?
Tokyo. I really wanted to visit Hiroshima. I spent a few days there.
Interesting.
To I don't know, just hang out there and see how it feels. And then I traveled a bit in one part of the country because it's actually quite big. I didn't know really, but I like backpack kind of in one area. I actually went to meet one amazing old photographer who actually photographed the Dalai Lama for a long time.
Oi.
Which I heard the guy was actually on couch surfing.
Dalai Lama or the photographer?
The photographer, like an old, maybe 80 years old man.
Ah, okay.
So one of my friends actually went there randomly, Leo, and he told me, you should really, as you know, I'm always looking for like stories or characters or something, so you should really go there. So I couldn't, this was a great excuse for me to go there. And and it was actually very nice. Spend the evening drinking whiskey, Japanese whiskey, and talking about Dalai Lama shit.
That sounds very interesting. And for the people who are listening, Mark B, I don't know if maybe you're familiar with a certain Mark B. He asked me a question here on the live chat, which you can attend this conversation. Just leave us a question on the live chat on the right side of this live stream here on YouTube. He's asking, why do you always wear a hat?
I don't know. I started wearing a hat at some point when I think out of high school or first year of university, and for some, I don't know, I enjoyed, so I just kept on. I think it fits me. Plus now I lose a bit of hair, so it's covering up a little bit.
A bit of hair? I don't see any hair there at the moment. You decided to go the bold style.
Yeah, this is the only haircut choice I think the decent haircut choice I can have or handle. So
yeah, but I like wearing a hat. I used to wear a hat constantly, but something told me that it's time to move on with my life and actually get a haircut. So a few weeks back,
I'll think about it.
Yeah, maybe I should try this. Maybe get a
move on and grow up a little bit. Okay.
No, but your hat fits you because you have this French style. We were taking a couple of photos of you before, and I kind of like your style because there's something really French artisty around you, and you work as a motion working graphic artist.
That's true.
At LeMonde, but that's not where you started, because you come. This is how I got to know you, from the breakdance scene.
Absolutely, yes. This is where we know each other. Actually, I started by doing dance, and when I was maybe 17, and so when you start doing such a thing, it's very visual. So it was the beginning of the camera as well. So naturally, we started filming them ourselves with my crew, and yeah, from there, things moved on, and I don't know. We did many projects. Like I documented a lot. I ended up documenting a lot the b-boy scene from France to many places in the world. And,
IBE, World B-Boy Classics.
IBE is where we worked, which is like a big festival in one of the biggest festival of breaking.
It's probably the biggest one, I would say.
Yes, I think so.
Did you go this year?
I didn't go, unfortunately.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
Why did you not go?
I think I couldn't, because now I'm very busy. No.
Oh, the artist is.
No, actually, I had a wedding. Or I had another wedding at this time. That's why.
Yeah, man. The last time I attended the notorious IBE was in 2012, I believe, and one of the greatest places to be, because everything kind of comes together. You have graffiti, you have hip hop. You have all kinds of interesting people from the hip hop culture. So it's a good place to be. Herlin, is it still in Herlin, or did it move on?
I think so.
But they had an event in China recently.
That's correct.
So I wonder if they're gonna extend way more. Yeah.
I cannot answer. I don't have the answer.
What is your favorite breakdance event?
Breakdance event? I've experienced to go many times on the R16 festival, which is now not running anymore, I think. But it was a festival held up in Korea, Seoul, Korea, and it was really nice. It's the first big journey I did out of Europe, actually, and I don't know.
It's
being
funny
in this part of the world, Asia. It's like all the neon, how do you say, like the lights, and I don't know. It was very nice event. But I think second will come IBE, and actually nowadays, as I step a little bit back from the b-boy documentation, but like in the competition level, I enjoy a lot the small festival vibes, and this is why I try to document now when I have time to escape from my work. And like I went last year to a very small jam in Sudan.
Oh yeah, in Sudan.
With my friend Mighty Jokers from Qatar, who are organizing this in Sudan, and this was like actually a very great vibe, because I don't know, somehow in these small countries, I don't know, it feels like people have a bit more excitement compared to I don't want to, like in the country like France or Europe, there's so many b-boy events now. There's many festivals. Maybe every weekend there's a battle. So there's a bit maybe less excitation from the dancers.
Excitement,
And over there, this is the only jam in maybe 1 or 2 years they're gonna have. So people are just all in, and they just want to give all they have, and this is amazing vibe, very warm.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular, and of course there's also getting more money into it. I'm not saying we are talking NHL or NBA style here, but more people are asking for events, and more events happen, but it kind of takes away a little bit from what it used to be back in the days. You were excited for IBE because this was the weekend where basically the whole world of b-boys came together. Now you can attend a b-boy event basically every weekend.
Yeah, I think pretty much now this is the case. So I don't know. I just follow what's.
Yeah, I don't know. I just follow whatever. So, however, last time we spoke, because you just mentioned Sudan, which brought me thinking of that you are actually traveling the whole world with your camera. And I was attending a podcast at the beginning of last week, and I said last time we had you on the podcast, you were biking through Afghanistan. While I was saying that, I realized, wait a second, Afghanistan is a war zone. You didn't bike through there, but I kind of thought it might be good if I just leave it there and get the people interested of listening to this podcast instead. But you were actually biking through the Middle East, and we had you in over Skype. So I just wanted to mention that I'm really happy that you could make it to Bangkok and up for the live podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for all the people who were interested to listen to me talking about bicycling in Afghanistan. It's not correct. It was actually, but it was a not less interesting place. It was in the Balkans, between Macedonia, Kosovo, and a bit of Albania.
Yeah.
So it was. I don't know. It was interesting to go there, since we don't know much this part of Europe as coming from France. At least me, I didn't know too much. So.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I talked to a guy, Imran Mughal, on my podcast. He visited the hostel. You were a guest there as well. I was running a hostel in Laos, and he was biking through these areas as well, and he actually got threatened with a gun one time. What was the most exciting stuff that happened to you while biking?
What can I tell you? I think with my friend, I was bicycling with my friend, director friend Léo Martaler from Barefoot Bastards, and so we decided to. Actually, we didn't bring our bikes from Europe, from West Europe. We decided to bought very cheap bikes over there, which was actually a very bad idea.
Only had one wheel or what?
Like we bought 2 bikes, maybe, I don't know, like $20-30 or something. And okay. It's okay, but like it was actually like we started directly to climb some mountains, and okay, it was not a good idea.
No warm up, just
but just the bicycle was not like proper, so we just and so the bike would like break down very often. I think it happened like 3 times or something, and each time we were like in the middle of nowhere, and we had to like just walk to the next house like for 1 hour, and then okay, hello, and every time you meet some new people, and it's very unexpected. Sometimes it's like the whole family, and they just. But all the time we got super like welcome. It's just very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could see Antoine Schirer right now, he's making gestures with his hands all over the place. Very exciting. Repairing the bikes when they break down, is that something that you could do before? Is that something that you learned on the journey? Because we live in a different time and age. Kind of more digital. So is that something that you could do from the beginning, or
actually I can still not do? That's the point. Like when something bad happened to you, you are forced to engage to people and to find a solution to your problem. I like to travel like this actually, to have like some sort of. I think traveling with bicycle is very good. So first, when people see you arriving with bicycle and backpack, and they're just like, what the fuck are you doing here in the middle in our small village? So usually in this region actually it's very interesting because most of the people, they speak our language. Either they're gonna speak French or German or English, because like they have migrated sometimes and they have worked sometime in Europe, so they speak always a little bit of language. So like and each time something bad happened to you, actually this is where okay, I have to find a solution, so I need to open to stranger.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You have no choice because otherwise you're fucked. So you must open to stranger, and this is, I think, always I think in all the travels I've done, the best things come from the unexpected. So now I try to sort of, I don't know, try to do that on purpose, sort of, so put myself in such a situation that I'm gonna have some troubles.
Well, as long as you don't make the plane crash just because you want to communicate to other people, it's all good. We are having a live chat section, as I just mentioned, and we have a few comments rolling in here. Sylvain Malakria, I probably butcher that name, said best video editor, his Chels Battle Pro trailer was the best trailer ever. And Sylvie Chayette said you're a great dancer. Are you still dancing, by the way?
Sometimes.
Because when you were here the first time a few weeks back for the wedding, we were out playing football, or soccer as they say in the States. No, soccer they say soccer in the States, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, however, in the break there, in between you showing your football talents, you actually showed me a few more dance moves. You still got it, man.
I can still bust a few moves.
Yeah, did you do anything on the wedding?
Yes, I did.
It's always like that. When you have a few beers and you have a good crowd, you always take out some dance moves. But are you still practicing, or is that just something you do occasionally?
No, I don't practice. Actually, I'm thinking of practicing again, like a bit like flipping, this type of stuff. But no, otherwise I stopped practicing breaking properly, and I think the reason were because it always has been like also a crew thing, practicing breakdance. Yeah. So like go together to practice with friends, and we have so much fun and this type of stuff. So somehow with life, people take different directions, and eventually like I didn't find a crew or something. So and me also.
Nobody wanted to dance with you.
I think also me. I was like. Really in my head into the video, all these projects, so which is also another passion.
Yeah.
So I eventually like put this down a little bit, but
it's
but watch out, I can still.
Maybe we have a breakdance battle here after the podcast. We have to see. I can still do some hand jumps.
You can do too, right?
Yeah, but if I do hand jumps,
you do good, like because you have the moves like the party moves, I think, which is like doing ups on your hand.
Yeah, hand jumps,
which is like very good for party.
Yeah, it always works. But the unfortunate thing is, I'm quite tall, so if I would do hand jumps tonight, means I'm out of the game for another 2 months because I will fuck up my back 100%. But yeah, you live and you learn, and sometimes you can't just resist. It's breaking is like a beautiful woman. You just want to do it once in a while.
I couldn't say any better.
He did not just say that. Yes, he did. However, you said doing movies and motion graphics is your passion, and I know we talked about this on the podcast the first time, but you have quite an interesting story when it comes to video, because you tried to attend a video school and they actually dislined you. They said, no, we don't want to have you, and years later you became famous almost and just went back and actually started to teach at the very same school that said no to you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell the exact story. It's a bit less epic than it
We're on radio here, you have to make it sound.
No, but I did the first time I applied, it's actually like a multimedia school, and I got refused the first year. The next year I applied again and I got accepted. I did the training and it went very well, and a few years later, it's true, I got called to give like a few class there, and I still do now since 4 years.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. But you moved to Paris. You used to live in Rion.
No, I don't live in Rion since a long time now. You came there actually.
Yeah, I came visited your family. Great place. If I would
beautiful place.
Yeah, if I would be a little bit older, I would move there because it's very, very quiet. You have a lot of wine fields around there.
It's full of wine field, in the Bordeaux area.
And you told me a lot of interesting stories of your childhood when you were, moving around there and where you started to break. So I actually have the pictures with me. I came there to visit before we went to R16.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, and that is actually how I ended up here in Southeast Asia. That was 2013, and here I am still. So basically, I'm here because of you. You dragged me along to R16, and then somehow I made the switch to Thailand, which is a beautiful place. I mean, all in Asia.
How is it for you? What's been these 4 years? Let's talk about you a little bit.
Me? What do you want to talk about?
Like, so 4 years in Thailand,
23 inches, and no, I'm
4 years in Southeast Asia. What's the biggest learning from it you learned?
The biggest learning is different people, different countries, different cultures, for sure. And I'm born in Germany, even though I grew up in Sweden. There is a lot of German inside of me, and sometimes, especially when it comes to work, man, I want to do stuff and I want to get it done. And I'm very direct, and that doesn't always work here in Asia, because here it's a little bit more polite, and you have to kind of avoid confrontation.
Okay.
You know, you cannot be straightforward because that could be seen as rude. So that is probably the biggest lesson I learned. But in general, traveling, I can only recommend it because, as you mentioned before, it just teaches you so many great things. It puts you in situations where you have to deal with whatever is in front of you. You cannot push it in front of you. You cannot ask somebody for help. You need to deal with it, and you need to learn from the situation itself. So the whole travel experience has been amazing, but there is a downside as well, and that is not seeing friends all the time. My parents, the last time I saw my parents live and in color was 5 years ago. So we Skype from time to time. Man. Yeah, but how about you? You moved to Paris. Are you still going home and visiting your parents, or?
Yes, I go maybe almost every month or every 2 months, something like this.
That's insane.
But it's near from Paris. Like it's like 3 hours train or something. So.
Okay, but that's still a journey, because 3 hours is like a lot of people. For example, when you travel by plane and you say, I'm going to Asia, it takes 15 hours, and then you have
that long.
There's always somebody who goes like, what, 15 hours? That's amazing. Back in the days, it took fucking 3 months with a horse. But a lot of people forget that you have to spend time going to the airport. You have to go through all the security checks. And I know this is really first world problems, but it's very annoying because it takes a whole day away.
No, it's true. It's I don't know what to say about this.
It's okay, you can say whatever you want. And we have a guest walking into the Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, where we are recording from. Hello, welcome, sir. This is what I love about podcasting in this beautiful hostel. I have a question here. Is Is it the guy who did the IBE 2010 trailer?
Who is writing this?
My God, genius.
Who is writing this?
Who would you're asking very specifically, who do you think is writing this?
Is it still Sylvain Malacria?
Simon LeMonde. Shout out to Simon LeMonde. Actually a quite German last name.
It's true actually.
Yeah, but Simon is actually from the same hood.
Yes, that's true. It's from like the next village actually, and we nowadays we do quite some project together.
But I want to go back to the whole traveling part. You asked me what is my experience from 4 years of Asia. What is your experience of traveling and meeting new people and new cultures all the time? I mean, what do you look forward the most when you go to a new place? Maybe let's jump in here to Senegal, Nigeria. You did go somewhere in Africa not long ago.
Recently I went to Nigeria, it's correct.
Nigeria, yes. And how did you enjoy that? Because that is very, very different from Asia.
It's true, I think. It was, like for me, I think a new experience. Also because I went to, for different matters that I used to travel for before. I went to do like some reportage for my work. And it's, I think, oh, sorry.
No, Derek is just pointing at the Manchester United sign there. As a Bayern Munich fan, it makes me shaky. Yeah. However, you went to Africa, Nigeria.
No, yeah, I was saying. I think it's the first time I was there in a country I don't know at all, and especially this type of country. I think you need to know a little bit about the country to operate properly. Also, I was there to documenting. I was doing one story on some breakdance matters, so which this was very fine. I was doing another story for something else different, which I didn't know too much, so I had to investigate. And for me, it was a bit new. I'm learning also this all the journalist stuff, I guess.
So the journalist stuff.
As I come more from a technical background, and I develop now all this, I don't know, like the storytelling and the reportage. I don't know.
The research, finding a subject, and all.
So I think it was like a bit of tension, because also you are on. I think Lagos is not like. I'm not an expert of this country, so it's just my perception from where I went. Yeah. But I felt a little bit. Traveling is not always a piece of cake. I think this is what you can say. Okay.
I always order too, my friend. Yeah.
But there's always good and downside. So it was like an intense experience for work, but also you get to see some amazing thing. I went to the place where Fela Kuti, which is one of the big legend of singers of West Africa from Nigeria. So I went to. He passed away now, and his son Femi Kuti actually owned the place, which is called Shrine. It's a big venue. Very, I don't know. From my eyes, it feels very, very popular. Very, I don't know how to say. And so I spent one night there, which was actually the 20 years of the death of Fela Kuti, and it was actually like I don't know, just mesmerizing. From my eyes, as I don't know too much from there. A lot of live music, a lot of colors on the stage. You will have a big stage. You will have a lot of chairs around and people having beers and some people selling weed somewhere. Like, and on the stage you will have portrait of like some big figures from Africa. Thomas Sankara. Like a lot of.
No idea who that is.
Big. Thomas Sankara is a very interesting character.
Well, I suck at names, so I have to get better at this. The only reason why I have a passport is so I remember my own name. It's like
the Che Guevara of Burkina Faso. I don't know. I'm not an expert at all on this. Well, but just hit Wikipedia and see.
Well, I will Wikipedia the shit out of that while I ask you my next question, because you told me that you almost got robbed in Nigeria. Or not almost, you basically got robbed. And who did you get robbed by?
That's true actually. I told you this story. I don't know. When I went out to the airport, I just got out of the taxi and there were two gentlemen with guns and I thought it was security people, and they say, "Oh, how are you? Oh, you live in Nigeria? It's nice." So I was like, "Yeah, I live in Nigeria. It's nice." And eventually they say, "Okay, do you have something for us?" Yeah. So I was like, "What do you mean? No, like I don't have." And they say, "Yes, you have something for us." And actually, it was like next to many people, and so it was very.
So it was in the middle of everything.
Like on the platform of the where the taxi drops you at the airport, you know.
Yeah.
So I had like $2 in my pocket, so I said, "Okay, I give it to you." So this is all I have. So I don't know. It's I guess I don't know. It's some sort of corruption, I guess. Probably I could have just walked away. They would have killed me in front of everybody, I think.
But you never know. You never know.
But,
crazy people are called crazy for a reason. But let's not draw the devil on the wall, as we say in Germany.
Yes. I don't know. Bad things can happen to you in Paris or.
Actually, Paris is a pretty bad place to be at the moment. There's a lot of shit going on with terrorism and cars driving into crowds. When I see that on the news here, I just tell myself I'm so happy to be over here in Asia because it's insane over in Europe. But a little fact, because the podcast is called Surrounded by Details, we pay attention to the details. You still call those dudes gentlemen. So that is how polite Antoine Schirer is. He gets robbed by people and he still calls them gentlemen. And to all the gentlemans and gentle Dienes out there, I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudettes, leave us your comment in the live chat section if you have a question for the man himself or any question about video editing. Somebody asked me, I should ask you, I don't really understand that question, but somebody wrote I should ask you about the color editing in Premiere Pro. The comment got withdrawn. I don't know why I still bring it up.
I think it's the perfect space to talk about color grading on a podcast.
Yeah, why not? Because unfortunately,
actually, I'm not very good at color grading.
Why not?
I don't know. It's a very technical thing, and
well, color grading for the people who are not into editing video.
Color grading. Yes.
Can you explain what that is exactly?
It's about it's like a bit editing the image to make it looks better. Like for example, sometimes you take a picture on your phone, and it's gonna be a bit too dark. It's gonna be a bit too whatever. I don't know. So it's the process of tweaking this frame to make it looks a bit better.
Yeah.
And so it works for photo, but also for video. It's pretty much the same process.
And I'm a big fan of color editing. I went from, when I started with photography, I started with a little bit color. I always took colors out of the image, and then as older I grew, as more I became a fan of strong colors. So I started to edit colors a lot more than I used to do. What is it that you would say is that you changed the most in your editing process from when you started to today? What is your strength today?
I think the more I worked and processed, I think in video work, I think audio is for me is like almost as important as I think even more important than the image actually on the video. So the audio part and all the vibe, that's all the information that's come from the audio thing. I think is I'm like me. This is what the type of stuff I like. I think audio brings much more information. Actually, I'm a big fan of radio. Yeah, well, you're doing radio right here, right now. I'm doing radio right now, but back home, I actually don't watch much videos online on YouTube or whatever or TV. I don't watch TV series too much, but I listen so much like podcast, radio show, radio documentary, many things. In France, we have the chance to have a lot of like amazing documentary produced on French radio. So I listen this a lot. I don't know why I think audio has a lot of power. Yeah, I think it's the next big thing, and a lot of people actually say the same thing, because people don't want to spend time watching anymore. People getting multitasking style, and that means if you watch a thing you need to pay attention, but when you listen to stuff you can still do other shit along the way without actually have to look at it. So yeah, I prefer podcasts, and I also started listening to audiobooks more, because I used to be one of those people who are like, fuck you man, I want to read a book, I want to smell a book, I need the physical book, and then I don't know, I just really enjoy audio. I don't know what it is. It's the next big thing. I should try audiobook maybe, because me it's the same. It's hard to find time to read, even though I like it. I love it. Somebody told me, I don't remember who it was, I think it was Javier, one of the Full Metal Dojo fighters, which is a MMA promotion here in Bangkok, and he owns the fastest knockout in mixed martial arts history. What? Huh? What is it? Mixed the fastest knockout. Okay, alright. Yes. The record. 2.5 seconds, I believe, or 2.7. I don't know. However, he once said he is listening to audiobooks double the speed. Alright. Yeah, I haven't tried it, but that's something that you can do with audio. If it takes too long, like if you have a thick book, a long book, just make it double the speed and it goes faster. So audio is editable and receivable in many
different ways. However, Antoine, tell me a little bit about your life next to video editing. I talked about you moving to Paris. We didn't really go into you working at the LeMonde at the moment, but what is it that you do next to video? I mean, what do you do for relaxing? Because you're a workaholic.
Yes, I work a lot. Actually, it's actually a lot of when I'm not working on stuff, I spend quite some time doing some other projects, like personal project or helping friends doing their personal project, this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And
but that's still work related.
this is still work related, but
let it go.
I know. No, other than that, I still I play ukulele. It's
I forgot about that. How's your ukulele career going?
It's, actually, in Japan, I took class of ukulele. Actually, yes, like they had so much spare time, so I was like, and I met randomly like some I don't know. I see, there's ukulele class. Okay, so I'm gonna take. I took 2 classes of 1 hour.
That's interesting, man. But do you play for yourself or do you play for other people as well?
For now, I just play for myself. I try to practice first. I think in 1 or 2 years, I will be able to like show up my skills a little bit.
Would you ever consider to move in the ukulele live performance category and become a live performance artist?
I'm thinking about it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will tell you more about his ukulele career later on when we do podcast number 1750. Maybe then it is time. But on a serious note, we played football, and then when you came back here, this time you asked me if I'm gonna go work out, you want to do some sport stuff. What sports do you enjoy next to breaking? I mean, dancing is obviously not a sport, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle, dude. But are you into football, or what is a big thing in France?
Football is the big thing, I think.
Yeah, football.
I don't follow too much football.
No?
What do I follow? I still follow like a bit the b-boy scene. I think I spend a lot of time listening to, following also the, how can I say, like the intellectual life kind of. No, it's more like the political and life in France. Like I'm very interested by this. Also there's a lot of activity right now. I think all the time. But I don't know, many ideas and stuff. So I try to follow up and listen to conference online. I go to attend conference about political stuff.
Interesting.
So like also philosophy almost. Like I don't know too much, but I'm very interested by it.
How would you say is it to live in Europe nowadays, especially in a hotspot like Paris, which belongs to, I believe, the top 5 cities, the most visited cities in the world? Number 1 is biggity Bangkok, the city of angels, aka the Venice of East. Second place is London, I believe, and Paris is around number 3, 4. I think New York is up there as well.
I have no idea.
However, my question is, I'm drifting off here. It is a city where you can't really escape politics because you constantly see it on news, and here in Asia you can just go on an island and just don't give a fuck. But in Europe you're constantly confronted with politics. Isn't that a little bit depressing, or do you say it's actually not fun, but for a better lack of words, it's fun because you get involved more?
Yes. What can I say to reply? I like the big cities for this reason, like to be able to be in the, like living in big city, it has bad sides, like okay, there is traffic, there is metro, whatever, or all the bad side, it's expensive, this is true, but on the other side, this is what you can have access to many things. It goes from culture, like music and stuff, and also there is this very alive activity about all politics stuff, and I think we are now, it's a very, I don't know, important time in at least in France about the politics stuff. So actually I'm not acting too much on it. I should probably like do more, but at least I'm interested by it, and
I know what you mean.
I follow up, and I think
let me just cut in there for a second, because I know exactly what you mean. A lot of people always say, yeah, but if you're interested in politics and you want to participate but you don't really do anything, you shouldn't be complaining. But it is very difficult as well, because even if you want to change and participate, they don't really let you to, because politics is all about open, and I do bookmarks here, is all about freedom of choice, but you don't really have the freedom of choice. So
yes, absolutely.
There's a fine line between actually participating and actually doing what you think is right, because you don't really have a chance. Let's just look at the United States of America. You have Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I mean, that is is there really a choice? It's you're not really voting for what you want. You're more voting for the lesser evil, basically.
No, I would agree. I think pretty much the same thing happened to France. Like we have a new president. Maybe you have heard of Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah, the famous handshake, handshake presidente.
And so yeah, I think it's pretty much a similar story, except it's pretty much like if Hillary has won. So I guess so in France we have this guy Macron, and he's keep on going on I don't know, neoliberal reform and stuff like this. I mean, this is my perception of it. I don't know too much, but I think I don't know. I'm not really happy with that.
Not happy.
Of course, you don't want to have the far right, the Trump, and luckily we don't have. Of course, we don't have this, but I think there is a third way. Like me, for example, if we take the United States, I would vote for somebody like Bernie Sanders, for example. And I think this is what like the type of thing I'm sort of.
Why would you vote for Bernie? Bernie's almost dead. If you vote for him and he gets into office, you must be afraid that he might be out of office tomorrow because he's dead. That's the problem that I have with politicians, because most of them are so old that, they don't really understand the new generation and the old generation. You have to find the perfect mix. That's why I think Obama was actually quite good, because he seemed to be somewhere in the middle. He was like, I smoked weed, and he seemed in a better spot than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just so off. He's so disconnected from the middle class. I don't know, man. It's how the fuck did we get into politics here? What happened?
I think
just makes me depressive. Another thing that makes me depressive, that is actually really, really great that we talk about depression, because what is it I hate the most about b-boy photography? It's jumping fucking b-boys, man. I'm sorry, I have to bring it up.
We have to talk about this.
We have to talk about this, and this, ladies and gentlemen, goes out to all you b-boy photographers. And I know there's a lot of you out there, and some way or the other, I love you all for the passion that you bring to the table, but please do me a favor, stop making b-boys jump and pointing in senseless directions. There's so much more to b-boying than jumping. I think that is, in my opinion, as somebody who comes from the scene, I think there's a lack of creativity when it comes to b-boy photography nowadays.
I think I would agree with you, but I'm not. I won't talk too much about this. I'm not.
Don't be afraid. You're just putting out your opinion. It's not about making enemies here, but I'm just saying my opinion. And in my opinion,
plus I don't follow enough to have a proper. Opinion, so I mean it's hard to also to keep to create a new thing all the time, and
but isn't that what
I
makes
will defend them a little bit.
Well, I'm not attacking anybody, but isn't that what photography should be all about, to constantly develop as a person and to constantly develop new images, even if you shoot the same subject? I think this is where real creativity sees the daylight, and where you can start to call who is really creative. I know I sound like a dick, but that's maybe just the German in me. But I don't know. Development is something really, really important for me. So just because you did this 3 years ago...
I'm sure if we look closer at your work, we find the jumping b-boy.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But I don't shoot it constantly. I know a few photographers, they constantly, and we talk both pro and amateurs here. And dude, I have certain shots. I'm shooting mixed martial arts here for one championship with it, which is the Asian version of the UFC. And I too have my pictures, my angles that I always shoot, which is always the same. But I'm still aware of them, and I try to change them, and I do change them.
I mean, this is the hard thing with especially this type of shooting, like it's like we can say commercial shooting, kind of. It's like you have to shoot every week, you have a new thing, and you need to always come up with new idea. Actually, it's a big intense. It's like a big thing to always have to like reinvent something, and I think at some point maybe it's become hard. I don't know. Like,
do you feel a certain kind of pressure when you work for certain clients, that you sit at home and you can't really sleep because you feel like, god damn it, I need to come up with something new. I can't do the same thing over and over again?
I think what you say happened when I had to pitch for back when I was doing more commercial stuff, and when you have to, the client asks you, can you pitch an idea, and or propose 3 directions for the project. So you have so actually it's exhausting. It's an exhausting job.
Yeah, it's mentally very stressful.
And me, now I sort of get away from this. Like I do video, and there is many different way of doing video. So in the commercial way, this is you often have to pitch, especially when you direct commercial, for example. Yeah. And then I realized I was not good at it. Like when I have, okay, can you pitch for a commercial for beer, Pacific Wonderland?
Yeah. Well, talking about this, I'm half dude hugging a man here right on my left side. His name is Angel, and sometimes I think his name is perfect because he seems to be an angel. Can you say hello to the crowd, because we recorded the episode not long ago and we never published it, not yet. How are you doing, Angel?
I'm doing swell. How about you?
I'm wonderful. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, he basically moved in here to the hostel here at Dreamcatcher.
Here at Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, this is the place where you should sleep when you are in Bangkok, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What a nice plug. Thank you so much. However, back to Antoine Schirer. In a perfect world, what would you like to shoot?
I think eventually I would like to shoot like documentary things like this, and possibly I would like one day to shoot something that I don't know, help to make it sounds
don't worry,
weird, but I hope one day to be able to shoot stuff that somehow are helpful to other human beings, kind of.
Well, I think you kind of already did, because b-boying for me personally brought me a lot. I got to understand that it's very important to be open-minded for other opinions, that you need to be open-minded for other cultures and other people, and that you can connect through something that is called love. And yes, it is called cliche, but that's something that is really important to share with others. And my job as a photographer, or yours as a videographer, is something that influenced many people, I believe, because there's a new generation coming up. And as myself, man, I got interested in b-boying while watching YouTube videos and seeing awesome fucking pictures.
Okay, but it's nice to, like, I think b-boying is nice, but I think the important matters right now, it's more on on some political question and some ecological question and stuff like this. So I think I would like to more get trying to make things that make people involved more in this type of matters. I think this is how we can make the world a little bit better, but for now I'm not doing much.
Well, I don't believe
I hope one day I try to, and one day hopefully I will.
You are talking down on yourself a little bit. Whenever I get asked about video, I always show some of your videos, because you have always been one of the people that has been very inspiring with the passion and the patience you bring to the table when it comes to actually documenting things. So don't talk down on yourself. You do a lot of amazing things. You travel the world. Amazing stories. At some point you were talking about a story somewhere in the Middle East as well, about chicken that come up with some colored eggs. I don't know. There's always some interesting shit going on with you, man. I really enjoy that, for sure. And let's go from the support to a little bit more hate, because I have to say this as well, talking about jumping b-boy pictures. All the b-boys who are listening, and yes, I'm making enemies. If you own a shirt that says b-boy or die, go fuck yourself. Because b-boying is supposed to be an open culture, and if you wear a t-shirt, b-boy or die, you're not very open-minded. So, with that being said, I'm sorry, but I had to bring it up. I'm letting out.
I don't have one, so I'm fine.
You don't own one?
No, I don't own one. It's okay.
How did I had a hip-hop phase in my life when I was like 15, 16, where I had my FUBU, for us, by us, jeans down to the knees. What was your worst time when it comes to hip-hop clothing?
I had a small period like this as well. I wouldn't say it was a bad time. Like for me, it was just okay. When you are 17, 18, okay, how you try to look. I don't know. You try out some stuff, and eventually you leave it away. It's fine.
But how was it? Because Rion, I've been there. It's a very small place. I mean, you stick out a lot when you wear hip hop jeans. So how did the people receive you?
I was at that time when I was still living in my parents, but I would go to like a little bit bigger town called Langon, where the high school was.
Okay.
So over there we were like a bunch of maybe 6-7 person wearing baggy jeans and like some
thing.
people even have Forest Bias stuff.
Yeah. Forest Bias. No, but I know what you mean. It's kind of.
So we were like a few like the hip-hop gang, les hip-hoppers, comme on dit.
Oh, c'est français, s'il vous plaît.
Les hip-hoppers, kind of.
Les hip-hoppers.
Les hip-hoppers.
The H is silent.
So, But me actually, I think I was a follower. Like I was not okay. I don't know how to wear, so okay, I will wear like this. I didn't.
Me too, man. I was too lazy. I just, you know how you always have to pick a team, which brings us basically back to politics. Everybody kind of needs a team, you know. You either pro Trump or pro Clinton or pro Merkel or pro hip hop. And for me, man, hip hop just seemed, that looks comfortable. I wear hip hop jeans. So I actually had one of those FUBU jeans that was hanging down to my knees, as I said, and I also had one of those, I don't know how you call them, college jackets.
College jackets? The American
the American
T-shirt
style. Exactly.
For
with
football, American football.
Yeah, with a big sign.
Nice.
Nice. I was a FOBO guy, man. Didn't really wear Wu-Tang. However, yeah.
But it's funny, but I think we were dressed like very like hip-hop and looking important, but actually we were very shy with my friends.
Yeah, man, but that's
so it's
often
very interesting.
The people who dress up the most. Now, this could be a discussion for itself, basically. So I don't want to say anything either or, but I think a lot of people who dress up like crazy, especially in the fashion world, they have feathers in their fucking eyelashes and all this kind of stuff. It's actually to hide their personality a little bit more.
Maybe, possibly.
And you know why I think that?
Tell me.
Because something I learned along podcasting is it's a different thing of actually having a conversation and saying something, and it's compared to actually having a podcast and saying stuff, because you realize that people, and especially in the World Wide Web, you get so much shit, man, for certain comments you do. You really have to learn to back up your comments and also realize, why am I saying what I'm saying? So a lot of people in normal world sounds very asshole-ish, but you get my point. I think a lot of people don't really realize who they really are, what they really want, and what they really stand for, because they never really recap why they think certain things.
I think it's a life journey, this thing as well. Like I think now I feel okay, I'm aware of myself, but I think in 30 years I will think, okay, when I was 30 I was totally lost.
I totally agree. I totally agree, man. How old are you? You are young? 31. Are you turning 32 this year?
Next year.
Next year. So I'm a little bit older than you. I have so much more experience.
Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. I have, by the way, birthday September 25th. In 1.5 weeks. Okay. Presents can be sent to following address. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think you have those jumps. They say every 7 years you kind of develop as a person and you look back at yourself. And when I turned 30, I really had one of those cliche jumps where everything that I experienced in the 20s were just making sense out of the sudden. It felt like I was experiencing so many different things, and yeah, you just live and you just keep on moving, and then at some point you have this moment where everything comes together and where you go like, this is what my dad fucking meant when he said this and this. You know how you say your parents are, you don't know anything about life, you don't understand me. But it's especially with 30, I had one of those moments. You realize that there is so much more stuff going on. There was, are you familiar with Humans of New York?
I've heard of it.
It's a photographer. He walks around New York and takes pictures of people and asks them one question, and they give an answer, either really short or really deep and cliche one. It's very interesting. And he once asked a woman, how old are you? And she said 30. And he asked, what was the best thing of turning 30? And she said, I knew all the bullshit was over. And this is until today one of my favorite answers to this particular question. But as you said, what is gonna happen in 10 years when we turn 40? Yeah. We're gonna look back and say, hey Tony, you remember when we did this podcast at the Dreamcatcher Hostel, which is in 10 years gonna be a 5-star hotel probably.
It was irrelevant.
It's yeah, man, life is so interesting. I never get bored of it. I really enjoy life.
Me too. I think every stage of life brings I don't know, like new question, new ambitions, and I have no problem with growing up.
Do you have a bucket list?
No, I don't have such thing.
But is there something that you really want to do? Like, for me, something that I have on my bucket list, I one day want to free dive with orca, with killer whales. That is something I want to do. Why are you laughing, man? You're laughing at my passion. You're hurting my feelings.
No, sorry. I think I didn't get. I got sky. I think I understood skydiving with.
Skydiving with killer whales.
No.
Or
I'm French, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a bad English, okay? This is normal.
Hey, normally I always bring it up on the podcast. # not a native English speaker. I say this for both of us, but maybe I should put this on my bucket list. Skydiving with killer whales. Now, the question that I have when I'm thinking about skydiving killer whales, how do you get them up? I mean, you need to...
No, but that's what... There's a lot of questions. This brings a lot of questions, I think.
It does indeed.
You need to invent, I don't know, many things to develop.
Yeah.
Proper plane, to proper parachute.
And you need a big tank for the killer whale.
Yes.
And a big fucking parachute as well. And who would jump first, the killer whale or you?
No, but yeah, that's...
Yeah. And who hits the floor first, the killer whale or you?
This is interesting.
Yeah. Here's a question for my audience, ladies and gentlemen. If you imagine you're on a plane and you're about to skydive and you jump, and right next to you at the same time there's a killer whale that jumps. Who is landing first, the killer whale or you little motherfucker? Figure that one out. Yes, it's allowed to swear on this podcast. And I'm having a couple of beers. I'm having a good time, man.
Me too.
Are you looking forward to go back to France?
Yes.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah.
What is it that you... if somebody asks you, what is it that you love the most about Français, what would you say? Les croissants.
You mean talking about like food or things like this? Yeah, I think...
Whatever. If you have to... Let me put it in a different way. If you have... Wait, I'm looking at my clock right here. If you have 30 seconds to represent France and why people should go there, please go now.
Okay, don't really pay attention to what I say because I'm very bad to tell stories and to pitch stuff. That's why I changed career.
You already wasted 10
But no,
seconds.
I think going to France, amazing wine, amazing cheese, and I think this is first, like, there's so much to explore in there. Okay, so okay, this is one thing.
Okay, food.
I think food. Yeah, there's a lot of potential in France.
Are you a white wine person or a red wine person?
Red wine.
Why?
I don't get really white wine for now. Like, I just get into. I mean, I've always drink a bit of red wine sometimes since I'm. But like, I start to wine tasting this type of stuff since a few months, year, and white wine for now I don't really. I mean, I really enjoy drinking red wine, so this is mostly what I drink.
Yeah, I'm receiving a question on Facebook here from Jessica asking, what is it that you always have in your travel suitcase? That's an interesting question. Shout out to Jessica.
I try to travel light, as many people. I think.
Yeah, you actually left a bag with me before you went to Japan.
Yes, like I try to get very like as small as possible. So you get very light and you can keep on going on. So I try to take not much stuff.
Yeah.
But if there is one thing that I keep, I think I always keep. It sounds a bit boring, but I keep my laptop because
Are you a nerd?
And I don't know. I like to keep on. Usually I work on the road, so I will take as much clothes as less clothes as possible, but I keep my laptop to be able, and my camera as well, to be able to, if I see something amazing, being able to shoot, or if I really want to do something, I can do it, and basically having my tools, my working tool with me, pretty much.
I think a lot of media people can relate to that. You rather travel without clothes as long as you can make space in your suitcase or backpack for equipment, because that's something that always needs to go. Yeah,
and there is nothing worse than you arrive somewhere, you don't have your gear, and shit, there is something amazing going on, and I cannot capture it, or I cannot. So it just gets so much frustration. That
is something that really annoys me, because sometimes when it comes to equipment, I'm talking about lenses, and I'm sorry for me getting into geek talk now when it comes to equipment, but that's just something we do and we don't care. However, sometimes I pack my gear and I think like, okay, should I take the 50mm or should I take the 2470 or should I bring 2 speed lights instead of 5? And when you pack 5 speed lights, you're never gonna use the 5 speed lights. But if you only pack 2, there will be situations where you're like, fuck, I should have brought my 5 speed lights. What is it, man? What's going on? Why is life playing that way? It's fucking annoying. However, there's so many questions I could ask about traveling, because you've been everywhere. Is there a place where you would like to go, like particular? I haven't been there, but I would like to go there.
Actually, Japan was one of these places I wanted to check up.
What
now
about?
I think there's always many. I would like to go to Yemen actually, but now it's
That's
not
where
really
the chicken is,
possible.
right?
I think it was happening there, but it's other place, but also there.
Yeah.
But Yemen is now it's impossible to go because unfortunately there is a big war and
Yeah.
so. But over there was like I've heard one of my friends studied there, someone from the Middle East, and he told. I've heard it was like a bit the last place from the Middle East, which was a bit looking and feeling like as it was maybe a few decades, 100 years ago, and like the old city of Sana'a, which is the capital of Yemen, was just. I think for me, I never been there, but as the pictures I saw, I heard some radio documentary about it, and it's just so mesmerizing. And I would really like to travel there. I hope. Unfortunately, it's a big mess now. But
Well, one day, you're still young.
Ethiopia as well.
Which brings me to another question, because you said you're getting more into journalism and more into investigating stuff and really particular focusing on certain subjects. Do you ever see yourself in a war zone and doing war documentaries?
No, not really actually.
Why not? Are you somebody who, well, for better lack of words, am not good with death, or do you actually? Because death for me is a very interesting subject. You know, I don't know, I'm definitely gonna sound wrong, but something that has always attracted me to doing war documentary stuff, which I hope to do one day, is the fine line between life and death. And then when you're really at the front, when you're really at the line, and I would love to talk to somebody who has experienced this firsthand, so if you know anybody, please get me in touch. But when you are there at the front line, do you really realize, is it really worth it? So I think that maybe that's a little bit selfish to say, but that's probably the reason why I want to document war, because I really want to know, is it really worth it?
It's like I don't know, me. I don't feel really like going to this type of stuff, or because I value life a lot. And
Are you afraid of death, if I may ask?
I'm not anxious about death. Like I accept that it's gonna happen and this type of stuff. But like I mean, if one day I have to, I don't know, I end up in war zone and I have to do something very important there, and I know, I don't know, maybe I could go, but I'm not feeling. I think I haven't met too much war reporter and stuff like this, but I think it needs a little bit of craziness somehow. Like you need to. Okay.
So what you were trying to say, people need to be insane. Just kidding, please. Sorry for interrupting.
I don't know. Like this is because like it's it takes balls to I just fucking go there to do pictures and.
Yeah,
I don't
indeed.
know.
I totally agree. There's a lot of great war photographers out there. Steve McCurry is one of them. Somebody I follow really close. Spectacular photography. Very emotional. It's almost like, again, I'm sounding like a dick, but shooting war is like shooting a baby. You know, you can't fuck it up because there's so much emotion going on. It's just, I don't know, it's just something that is fit for being documented on photographies or videos, one way or the other.
That's true. I don't think we should do. I don't know. Like I don't romanticize this too much as well. I think it's very. I don't know. It's
a difficult subject, man.
It's a difficult subject. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know too much about it.
Well, we will know about death one day, that's for sure. But if you are interested in reading, ladies and gentlemen, there's a book out there called Shantaram, which is one of my favorite books. I don't know if you have heard of it or if you have read it. It's very interesting, and they bring up a scenario in this book where the author is telling a story, and they ask them, if you are locked up in a room and you are on one end of the room and there's another guy at the other end of the room holding a knife to your mom's throat, and he will kill your mom if you don't push the button that is in front of you. So if you push the button, you kill the dude. If you don't push the button, he will kill your mom. What do you do?
I think I will press the button.
I think everybody presses the button. That's the normal thing. What I'm trying to say here is that talking about death and killing and war is that, in my opinion, the reason of life is to actually continue our species. So if you push the button, you are doing wrong to your species because you're killing one of your own. However, sometimes it's the right reason, it's the right thing for the wrong reason. You know what I'm trying to say?
The right thing for the wrong reason.
So that's what I meant when I said, is it really worth it? Because you don't really know in a world like today, is it right what we do or is it wrong what we do? The overload of propaganda, the overload of opinions, the overload of reasons we receive today through audio, video, photography, and all those different things are so confusing. And especially working within media, man, it just makes me tired sometimes.
I mean, this is, absolutely agree with this. Like, it's a very interesting question to ask ourselves, and I think me, this is why the reason why I decided to a little bit try to get more into documentation and news. Also, for me, it has more meaning than shooting some whatever commercial or doing some motion graphics for some phones. And so, for me, I find more meaning doing what I try to do now than before shooting shooting breakdance, man. Like, no disrespect for. I think it's a very nice hobby to have and something very nice, but I mean, personally, I feel more happy with myself putting my energy on trying to improve, trying to work on matters that I feel are important and really important for everybody.
But with important matters comes important responsibility, because the people will receive the world as you choose as an individual to show them to others. It's in your hands because you are editing the video, and we know, and same for me as photographer, we can do so much things. We can manipulate photos and videos in such a way that we really can influence how other people receive it. So with important subjects comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you afraid of this, or have you ever thought of this? I'm sure you have, but
I
how much are you aware of it while you actually do it?
I don't have occasion all the time to do, because when I work at my work at LeMonde, I'm not in charge of the editorial part. I'm mostly doing direction and editing, and so I work most of the time with a journalist who is in charge of the editorial part. But what I try to do at least is to you're gonna see the news or something happening, and I try to what we're gonna talk about. Like, you want to talk about the breakdance or talk about the whatever things, or talk about matters that are important. I'm explaining very bad, I'm sorry, but
no, don't worry.
I think there is what you shoot with your camera, where you put what you document. There's already like a big decision there. Like, sorry.
Oh, he's almost kicking.
Should I do a documentary of some breakdancers or some social movement, whatever, who are fighting for their rights or something like this? I'm asking myself these questions.
So what do you think about conspiracy theories? Because when we talk about cutting and showing a subject to the world in a different perspective, there is a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Are you a big fan of that? And I'm saying that with a smile, so don't take that question too serious. But for me, conspiracy theories are very entertaining, but it's a dangerous path, because there are people out there who can't really tell the difference. Are you a fan of conspiracy theories or not? Do you believe 9/11 was an inside job? Well, talking about 9/11.
I don't check up too much on like this type of like footage or like videos on YouTube and stuff. I think that's the problem. Like, there is so much bullshit on the internet that it actually I think there is some like sometimes there is some real conspiracy that's happening, and unfortunately it's probably like rare and not really it's not really broadcasted, or I don't know, like you don't really see it. For example, actually we had 9/11 today, or
not today. Today
it was yesterday. For example, 9/11.
3 days ago.
There is two 9/11. There were 9/11, which was of course the Twin Towers in New York, but there is also in South America. I think it was in Chile, I think, where Salvador Allende got killed. Like a long time. I don't remember exactly, but you just click on the internet, you will find. And he got, I think if I remember right, he got killed by the CIA back then. And so at that time, maybe people could, I think now it's documented. But back in the days, people could say, okay, this is conspiracy theory, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now it's actually was a proper conspiracy. CIA killed him. So I think this is the thing. Like, there's so much bullshit theory conspiracy on the internet, but sometimes there's some real conspiracy, and
that's what I meant before. You don't really know what to believe anymore. I think what you're trying to say is go check yourself before you wreck yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Not entertain yourself. I was trying to say educate yourself before you entertain yourself. It's very important to keep yourself up to date and not just believe everything that is shown on the internet. And believing in things, a lot of stuff is of course coming with what you do for a living, especially as somebody who puts out media to the World Wide Web. How do you deal with negative comments? Because there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people who say, oh, you don't know how to film these movies, sacre bleu, or other things. Are you paying attention to haters, or are you more a positive person that says, I don't care, I do my thing, and whatever you think is what you think. I cannot change that.
Nowadays, the work that I produce don't get too much. It gets feedback, but it gets so much troll. Like when you work for a big media like LeMonde, for example, you have every footage you do, you have 100. It's funny actually because whatever angle you take, if you document. You're gonna take it, but it's gonna be a bit more incisive on this guy or on this guy. You're gonna have the other side who's gonna. The haters are gonna say, "Oh, this is." Sorry, I'm explaining bad.
No, we had a couple of years. It's okay.
You have the other side who trolls. How do you say in English? Like
troll. That trolls.
Yeah, that works.
What do
you just
have?
gonna say bullshit? Yeah. Like 100 comments about LeMonde, you are so much this. Like you are. And if you do a video on the other, like a bit. Where you're gonna attack a bit the other part or something, then you have the other side who's gonna
people like to be on a team. It's very difficult, my friend. It's very, very difficult. People like to be on a team. And talking about team, this podcast is of course not a single person's do. It's teamwork. And with that being said, thank you so much. What a plug, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, or Cafe and Bar, or turn it around, Hostel Cafe, go crazy, whatever you want to do. What I'm trying to say is, if you ever are in Bangkok and need a place to crash, come here. There are fine beds. I believe Antoine is sleeping in a
I'm staying here tonight.
Yeah, staying here tonight in a very nice bed. And even if you have another place to crash here in Bangkok, which is your own mistake, that's not my mistake, don't blame me on it. But you can come over here because it's not only a good place to crash, it's a good place to just enjoy a couple of craft beers and a good conversation. The staff is amazing. Big D, aka Derek Uazva. I still can't pronounce his last name. Shame on me, Steve-O. However, probably the second person I know, I think only Brian Bartosz is in front of you when it comes to knowledge of craft beer. Derek has a huge passion for craft beer, as he described himself once, a person that likes craft beer. So, with that being said, Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, Okefar Bar. I keep repeating myself. Good place. Shut up, Steve-O. I'm talking to myself. However, Antoine. What is next for you? What's up next for you in the next couple of months? I mean, 2017 is slowly but surely coming to an end. What can we expect to see from you over the next few months? October, November, December?
What I'm doing? It's an interesting question. I keep working for LeMonde. So
you signed a 1-year contract with them, right?
I actually haven't signed, but I'm going to sing when I get back.
So I can still put an offer here.
Absolutely.
So what do they pay you? Just kidding. You're going to be with LeMonde.
So I'm going to be with LeMonde for 1 more year, and actually last year I did a full-time contract with them, which was an interesting experience. Mm-hmm. But as I've been a freelancer all my life, all my young career. Now I missed a bit that mode, so I've negotiated with them to have to do 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Only 2 weeks work for them and 2 weeks where I can do other projects. And
are you good at negotiating things? Because especially here in Southeast Asia, when you take the cab or if you go out to the market, there's always a lot of negotiating going on. Are you good or bad at that?
No, especially in Thailand, I don't feel comfortable negotiating. I don't know when I should, when I shouldn't. Okay, how much could I go and stuff. And when it comes to work, I think it's a bit the same. I'm not that good. But,
well, don't take this advice to your negotiations with LeMonde, but when somebody here in Thailand says a price, always go half. Okay. Always go half and then see what they say, and then you work your way somewhere in the middle. You shouldn't do that with your working fee, because that would be a bad thing. You should negotiate up, maybe
like
double.
Yeah. I will remember this.
But that's the golden rule here in Thailand. But there's so many things. I've been living here for 4 years, and when I go to other places like Shanghai, or you go to Myanmar, or you go to Laos or Vietnam, I know Big D was just in Vietnam. You always think, because you've been living here for so long, you can't fuck with me, I'm not a fucking tourist, I know what I'm doing, bring it on. And then 2 days later you realize they fucking fucked me up, they took double the amount of money that I should have paid. It still happens to me, but somehow I enjoy it, man. Do you enjoy to be hustled in a friendly way? Because I always say I have no problem if somebody tries to hustle me in a tourist area, because I understand that they want to make their money, and especially in a place like Thailand where stuff is cheap, I don't mind to pay a little bit more because it's still cheap. But
as me, I'm okay. When this happened to me, when I get rubbed, it's not the right word, but
a little bit rubbed.
A bit rubbed. Like I say to myself, okay, actually this guy, like it's okay. He's gonna. He need actually. I'm okay of him having this money. Like he probably don't have too much for living. So maybe actually he has a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you ever get your wallet stolen or something like that? Because I just recently had a friend who told me, yeah, I got my wallet stolen, and then we talked about your experience with your GoPro. Is there anything that ever happened to you, like the worst kind of traveling memory? I got raped, and the next day I woke up and no rape jokes attended, but so I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But what's one of the worst things that happened to you while traveling?
I think so far I've been pretty lucky. Like on maybe I don't know. Like I traveled since 2010 or 2009, and not much has happened to me. One time I got robbed in Jamaica, and it was like a unexpected experience.
Unexpected.
Yeah, I guess you don't expect too much to be robbed, right? But
no, but that's I expect to be robbed. That's probably a place where you shouldn't go if you expect to be robbed.
Yes,
you know
exactly. But what I learned from this, and now I always separate my cash and this type of stuff. I try to go out with. You should put a little bit cash in your pocket, so if you get robbed, okay, you can give to the guy, okay, take this money, this is all I have. And I put in some other place some other cash. Actually I didn't do like right now.
No, but I know what you mean, but I'm still
I was traveling in Japan though, so like Japan is probably the only place on earth when you can, maybe with South Korea as well. This country you can leave your laptop on the street, it's gonna stay there. It's true, it's very safe, and it's.
It used to be the same in Sweden though. Okay. Sweden or Scandinavia in general used to be the same. I would say until mid-end of 90s, beginning of 2000s. Sweden used to be a place where you can just leave your car unlocked, and even last time when I was in Sweden, my parents still leave their car unlocked because nobody really cares.
But at their home or anywhere?
Anywhere. I mean, even if you go out and go to the mall, Sweden. If you're not living you're not living in Gothenburg or Sweden, it's such a small place. So if somebody robs your car, you probably know who it is. So, hey Tony, you stole my car. No, I'm just kidding. I'm talking to you. I'm just making jokes here. But as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, we Germans are world famous for our humor. You know, what are French people most famous for? Do they have a great humor?
Humor. I think French people are known to be how do you say in English, like grand ronchon, like how do you say? Like
What does that mean? Explain yourself.
I don't know, to how do you say bougonner, like to not be happy, this type of
complaining.
Exactly, complaining.
That's interesting, because a lot of people would say that's a Russian thing, it's a German thing. We're never happy.
I thought it was a French thing. Actually, I think it's everywhere. Like we try to. It's racist to try to put sticks on.
I don't care at all. If you think that I'm racist, you're freaking racist. I love racist jokes, by the way. I'm very open about that, because once again, if you think that racist jokes are racist, then you're probably racist yourself. And it's just true, man. I had a hostel in Laos. I had a resort in Koh Tao. I spend a lot of time in front of the bar here at Dreamcatcher, not behind the bar. It's probably better to be on the other side. However, what I'm trying to say is you learn to deal with a lot of different cultures, and no offense, I love all of them, but with everything, man, there is two sides of the coin. People say women cannot drive, but there's good female drivers and there's bad female drivers.
Yes.
There's good male drivers and there's bad male drivers. There's always two things, and I think the easiest way to deal with problems or annoying things is to make fun out of them.
Oh.
You know, I'm not a big religious
I like
person.
racist jokes as well.
Yeah, you see now the truth comes out. He said, and is wearing a SS uniform. I'm just kidding. What happened to your glasses? You were wearing glasses before.
Yes, but I realized since I'm a bit sleepy, actually it's good to if I wear the sunglasses.
You fall asleep behind the.
Now I have the light of the room, which kind of excite me.
Keeps you awake.
Keep me focused.
Keeps me.
And since there is no cameras, it doesn't matter that I wear my sunglasses or not.
Yeah, we hope to bring back the studio in this beautiful September month. We had to be moved out of our old location. So if you're familiar with our earlier podcast, we actually used to have a studio and we're trying to come back. If I record at home, I'm actually bringing back the webcam so you can see my ugly face, you mofos. And yes, swearing is allowed on this podcast. And you know why I swear? Because it makes me feel cool. I'm just joking. Ladies and gentlemen, what more can I say? We've been recording for a little bit more of an hour, and it was, as always, a pleasure to talk to you, Antoine.
Me too.
And where can people find you on social media if they say, "Hey, this Antoine Schirer seems like a very interesting character"? Where can I follow you on social media?
I think Twitter,
Facebook,
and that's it. I'm not.
You use Instagram now.
I do have an account, but I don't update too much.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So if you want to tag Antoine Schirer on Instagram, just do that, because he doesn't keep himself up to date. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You have a website as well, AntoineSchirer.fr.
Absolutely.
Yes, I did my research. So I'm going to put all that below in the description. So if you want to get in touch, if you have any questions about motion graphics, Antoine Schirer doesn't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. He will answer most of them.
I always reply.
You do, actually. You are a fast reply.
I always reply.
Yeah, so I'm just talking out of my ass here. My apologies. One of the best human beings on the planet, ladies and gentlemen, Antoine Schirer.
Wow.
You have been listening to the Surrounded by Details podcast with me, Steve-O, your host. And if you want to follow us, check us out. Hashtag not a native English speaker. Check us out on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher. We are literally everywhere. We are kind of stalking you to listen to us. Just look for Surrounded by Details, and if you want to follow me on social media, my podcast, my photography, and my travels, just make sure to have a look at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Steve Bonhage, STEVBONHAGE. And if all that was too much, just go on my website, www.stevebonhage.com, where you can find the finest photography, maybe the best MMA photography in Asia, maybe even the world, maybe even the universe.
Maybe.
Talking about the universe, we never talked about Alien.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
I think
movie I hate.
we stopped the music. It's the right appropriate moment to talk about it.
Well, we're going to have one more beer and talk about Alien. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to Big D from the Dreamcatcher Hostel
Thank you very much.
Bar and Cafe for hosting us and serving us millions of delicious craft beer. That's it for today. Tune in at some point when we are back. We don't really know when we are going to be back. Life is interesting. Keep it interesting. Stay awesome and don't be a cunt.
Thank you, Steve.
See ya.